If you're working a 9 to 5 but want to change your life and make over $10,000 every single month, but maybe you don't know if you have the time, you don't know what online business to actually go and start, this video is specifically for you. Because when I started, I was working over 10 hours a day and only had 2 to 3 hours of free time. And just this past year, I went from zero to over $35,000 in a single month, literally from nothing. It's not because I worked harder than everyone else. It's because I applied my focus to the one skill set and one business model that actually makes sense when you have limited time. So in this video, I'm going to go show you why you not having the time is not what's actually holding you back. Why most people pick the wrong thing entirely and honestly just fail from the beginning. And why maybe you tried something before, why that didn't work for you specifically, and the best route to actually go moving forward. And deep down, you know that you don't want to be working for someone forever. You want to have that freedom to be able to go travel, spend time with family and friends whenever you want, and not be at the mercy of someone else telling you what to do. If any of that sounds like you, stay with me because this is going to be probably the most valuable or relatable video you're going to see this year. So the first thing I want to do is just break down, number one, the limiting belief of time. I know back when I started, to give you guys some context, so I was a year ago, so last November in 2024, because now we're 2026, a little over a year ago, right? I was in school, I was studying economics, I was playing soccer in college, and I was also working as a server, right? So the days ended up being 10, sometimes even 12-hour days when it comes to just school, practice, film, then working, right? The days are super, super long. So I only had 2 to 3 hours of free time a day, some days even less, some days even maybe 1 to 2 hours a day, right? Now, in the beginning, I had the belief that, okay, like I'm just not going to be able to move as fast as other people because they have all this time. I still have these like duties to fulfill and stuff like that, just with school and all these responsibilities. And that's 100% true, but I was looking at it through the completely wrong mindset. And I know a lot of people with jobs with 9 to 5s who I chat with, who I speak with, think the same way. It was that, oh, I'm at a disadvantage. Now, the second you feel like you're at a disadvantage, you're subconsciously telling yourself of, okay, now we have a reason, we have an excuse if it doesn't work. You keep telling yourself that you're at a disadvantage, and that's the same very reason that you're still in the same place that you've been for the last 2, 3, 4 years. It's because you're telling yourself that it's basically okay. You're not consciously saying that. Subconsciously, when you think, yeah, I'm at a disadvantage, you're going to be at a disadvantage because you're thinking without an abundance mindset. You need to reframe the way you think. And this was the unlock for me, was changing the way you think, realizing that at the end of the day, nobody's going to save you, but also we all have the same 24 hours in a day. When you break it down like that, you, me, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, we all have the same time in the day. It just comes down to how are we going to prioritize our time. And something that kind of clicked for me as well is if you go look back at like these entrepreneurs like stories and stuff, everyone always starts like working a job. Everyone starts doing something they don't love. The reason you're getting into this in the first place is to break out of that. But the reason you're still here is because you need to do it to make money, obviously, right? So what I'm not telling you to do is, okay, go burn the bridges, go quit your job right now and go all in on this, because that would be stupid. For me, it took me, I would say, 2 to 3 months, and I was for my third month or something, I was making like 300 or $1,000 a month, and I decided to go all in, but not because I was already where I wanted to be, but because I saw proof of concept. So I would highly recommend you, before you go all in, to see the proof of concept first. But that's what I'm going to go through in this video. You're probably wondering like, what business should I actually do? So I'm going to literally like walk you through all that and everything you need to do in order to be successful with this, right? But the first limiting belief I wanted to break is your belief around time. If you stop thinking that, okay, I'm at a disadvantage, and you start thinking everyone has the same amount of time in the day. So what can I do to make sure, instead of, because I only have 3 hours a day, I only have 2 hours a day. These other guys have 8, 10 hours a day. How can I beat them out with a quarter of the amount of time they have? And when you think in that mindset, all of a sudden you're going to start seeing little gaps in your day, and you're going to start seeing, oh, I actually maybe have more time than I thought. Or if not, maybe your schedule is just totally packed. You're going to start maximizing your free time more. When you start thinking in like this competition mindset of, I'm going to go beat someone out who has quadruple the amount of time that I have, and I'm not going to let them beat me out. All of a sudden you start working harder. You stop watching Netflix in your free time. You stop watching YouTube and stuff like that, and you actually go and take action and make the most of your time. I know, like, when you get off a job and get off work and stuff, you are so tired. But at the end of the day, if you have this mindset of, oh, I'm at a disadvantage, what do you think you're gonna do? You're gonna go home, eat ice cream, and sleep, watch Netflix, because you say, oh, I'm too tired, I can't do it. And that's the number one issue is you you're thinking you're at a disadvantage. So when you reframe the way you think and see yourself as, I'm not at a disadvantage, I just need to make sure I'm working smarter and harder in this time I do have than these other people who have this other time. Because I can tell you, when I started and when I did go full time into it, I was working 10, 12 hours a day on this consistently on my business model. But the thing is, I wasn't working on the right stuff. I could have probably worked four hours a day of just applied, focused, deep work, and I would have got more done than I would have worked than I did working 10, 12 hours a day back then, because I was working on the wrong things. And again, I'm gonna break all this down for you. But that's a mindset to have, is like, as someone who's worked and who works 10, 12 hours a day every single day, you can get 80% of the work done within a 4 to 5 hour chunk if you're actually dialed in and you're locked in that time. So that's the first thing, is reframe the way you think about your time and realize you're not at a disadvantage. Yeah, you don't have the most optimal schedule possible, because nobody does in the beginning. But you need to make the most of the schedule that you do have. So now that you reframe the way you think about your time and you broke that limiting belief, because that's the first step, that's the foundation. If you have a shaky foundation, none of this other stuff matters. If you're still thinking in a scarcity mindset, you need to think in abundance, and abundance will be given to you. You're going to receive abundance. And if you have any questions, by the way, or just want to connect with me, I'm always happy to help you guys out. Shoot me a DM on Instagram. The next thing you're probably thinking is, yeah, Noah, this all sounds great, but what business model should I actually pick? Now, I'm not here to sell you on one business model or the next. I could care less what business model you choose, but I want to make sure you have and you make the most informed decision. And I'm going to show you what worked best for me and why I chose the model that I chose. So for those of you who don't know, I run a marketing agency. People call it SMMA. Some people call it like an AI agency, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of been thrown around, freelance brand scaling. Now, there's so many businesses out there, and I'll tell you a bit of backstory on me. My first business, I think I tried print on demand, which is like where you print t-shirts and like you sell them and stuff. That didn't work for me. I looked into like Amazon FBA, like reselling products on Amazon. None of those worked. I did drop shipping for a bit, made a little bit of money with that, and then it kind of just fizzled out. And when I look back at the businesses I tried, I realized that, okay, even though I can make money with some of them, it wasn't consistent, but I also felt like I wasn't in control. I felt like I was like at the mercy of the algorithm of some new trend every single time. Like with dropshipping as an example, you're like just hoping that the trend hits or something like that. But then also your margins are super, super low. But that's the reason that those business models to me like didn't appeal to me. And I trust me, I've tried all of them. And after all of that, I realized, okay, the business I need to go into is an agency, because what I realized is you get paid to the level of your skill set. So this is harsh, and I don't mean to come off as like a jerk or anything, but the reason you're making 9 to 5 salary right now is because you have a 9 to 5 skill set. Your skill set you don't deserve to get paid more than a 9 to 5 salary for your skill set, because you're not more valuable than someone that they can go find, right? The supply is huge for the skill set you have. Most of you, like 99% of you, right? And that's what I realized for me as well. Like my skill set, I was a commodity. When you think about yourself as not, oh, I'm a special snowflake, and you're like, all right, I look around and my skill set is a commodity. How can I stand out? I don't really have anything to differentiate myself. Yeah, maybe you're good at this, good at that, but also it's like you need to have a high paying skill set. So maybe you're like really good at like painting. Maybe it's not the best example. Obviously, if you're exceptional, you can make crazy amounts of money. But even if you're just good at painting, you're not really going to get much there, right? So it's like choosing the right skill set. And what I realized after doing research, listening to all these like gurus on like how to actually go and make money, is it always came down to sales and then marketing. It's sales and marketing. And I was looking at these businesses, and the only business that I found where you can actually get both of them is like an agency. Like drop shipping, these Amazon FBA stuff, it's all marketing. You're not actually interacting with people. It's all just marketing, which is a really good skill to have, right? Marketing is an awesome skill to have, but with sales, especially that was the one thing I was lacking mainly. And I was like, all right, I need to do sales. Now also, you have 2 to 3 hours a day of free time. You don't have time to go door to door sales. But also with that, you're not getting a marketing skill. So the only business model where you get both sales and marketing, the two highest paying skills you can possibly have, is an agency. And that's the reason I chose an agency. And I went into it with the mindset that, hey, I'm not looking to get rich in this with my first year. right? I look back at my goals from this previous year, and my goal was to make 10K in a single month. I basically almost quadrupled that in my first year. That was my goals for 2025. Obviously, for this year, it's 6 figures in a month. I don't want to go through that now. But once you get the skill set, you see how it's not, I don't want to say easy, but how simple it is to stack cash, because your skill set, you're going to get paid to the level of skills that you acquire that you have. So choosing a model where you can actually you put yourself in the best place, in the most efficient place possible to build that skill set. Because even when I started, I went with the mindset. Obviously, my goal was 10K a month, but I was like, I'm gonna commit a year to this, and if I don't make a dollar, I don't make a dollar. But then I'm gonna learn these really valuable skills like sales, like marketing, that are gonna be with me for the rest of my life. Because I realized again, I need to position myself. I need to differentiate myself and position myself as a rarity, not a commodity, with the skill set. And the second you start doing that and you have the right business model, which I recommend going with an agency because you build that skill set, you're not going to make a ton of money right away. At least most people, right? I mean, some guys that I do help out, like Sam, he made about five and a half thousand in his first month, but that's not completely normal every single time. But if you can stick with, like, my first 2 3 months, I made basically nothing, and then all of a sudden it just took off. It was 7K, 12K, 15K. Then from there, it just went up. And that's the way it kind of works. It's good. It's not going to be a linear thing, which is also the reason a lot of people get stuck. Maybe you've even tried an agency before. Maybe you've tried drop shipping or anything like that. But like with those, obviously you're not building the skills. But if you're in a model like this, when you're building the skills, it's not linear. All of a sudden, something just like happens. It just clicks, and you just see your income just explode. Now, I can't go and tell you when it's going to be, if it's going to be in 30 days and 45 days. That's for you to figure out. But the only way you figure that out is if you stick with it long enough to actually see the upside of that. Which is the mistake a lot of people make, is they say, oh, I'm going to go like hopping from one business model to the next. Oh, I'm going to do a month of this. If it doesn't work, I do a month of this. It's like you're not giving yourself enough time. You're not giving yourself enough time to actually acquire the skill set. You should go into something wanting to just master it. I think that's something that helps me out and separates me, is when I go into something, I go all in. Now I have a pretty extremist like personality and mindset. Like I go all in on stuff. Not everyone has that. I think it is a blessing, but you just need to like commit at least 6 months to it. And like I said, maybe you've tried this agency thing before, but if you didn't make it work, it's not because the model is flawed, because you can see someone like me, some normal dude, is making it happen within a year with the same amount of time as you. I just don't go and make excuses. I actually stick with it. It's because you didn't have the right plan, the right roadmap, which is another thing for another time. But that's why I would go with the agency business model if you are actually looking to change your life, is because you need to build up your skill set. Now, also go and look at your job, your 9 to 5. See what skills, or just your life, what skills do you already have that you can use to your advantage? Maybe you have some marketing skills. Maybe you have some like creative design skills, which is awesome. You have some marketing stuff, and you can use that to your advantage. But also, I know a lot of people think, and I thought I don't have any skills. I went into this business model last year with zero skills, and I made it work. So if you're sitting there thinking, yeah, but I don't really have any of these skills, that's the beautiful part of it, is that it builds the skills for you. Once you start taking action, you start making calls, taking sales calls, you start running ads, you actively learn the skills by doing it. You don't learn the skills by reading a book. A great analogy is like if you read a book on how to swim, you're not just going to be like, oh, I'm a goldfish now, I can go out and swim. No, that's stupid. You need to go take swimming lessons, right? You need to actually go put it into practice. The same thing with a business model. You can't keep watching YouTube videos and stuff like that and expect that you're actually learning. And that's another interesting thing is, I know when I was basically working full time, like 10 plus hours a day, in my 2 to 3 hours of free time in the beginning, I would go and study, and I'd be watching YouTube videos, taking notes, thinking like, oh, I'm doing so much work, I'm learning so much. But learning only happens when you actually go and apply it. Otherwise, it's just words. You think you're being productive, but you end up, it's another full-time job taking notes, and you're basically going through this stuff that you're not actually applying, and then you're just wasting your time. So don't make that mistake of, with your free time, you should not be just going and watching a bunch of videos, right? And my goal of this video is to have you go and take action, not to go and watch the next video of mine for retention, but to go and actually take action and change your life the same way that I did. The last thing that I want to go over with you is, you need to always have in mind the reason for you doing this. What is your why? What is your North Star? Because what's going to happen is there's going to be days, there's going to be plenty of days, there's going to be weeks where you don't feel motivated. You don't feel that motivation. And the thing is, like, motivation comes and goes, but the people who win with this are the ones who can stay disciplined, not motivation, discipline, because discipline's always going to be there. Motivation is something that just it comes in ebbs and flows. But something that can help you stay disciplined is realizing why you're doing it, realizing what your goals are, which I know for me personally, it was getting out of the rat race, right? The college, the school, being like everyone else, the 9 to 5, like doing all that, being the same as everyone else, going down just an average, living an average life, going on average trips, having average stuff, right? Having average relationships. If you want to be average, you're not in the right place. Then just go do the average thing which is what you're doing right now, which is working a 9 to 5, which is going to school full time, which is doing all that. But the people who have, if you have non-average goals, if your goals are extraordinary, how are you going to get to an extraordinary goal? How are you going to become an extraordinary person by living an average day-to-day life? Just think about that. Ask yourself, what are your goals? Are your goals average? Are your goals extraordinary? Again, whatever your goals may be. Maybe you want to just provide for your family. That's not like that's something that people want to do, but that's also not like an average thought. Most people can't do that. Maybe you want to go buy a Lamborghini, have like a penthouse high rise. That's not average. Maybe you want to go travel the world. That's not average. Again, if you want to be average, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing the average thing. But if you have, again, extraordinary, exceptional goals that are so crazy, it sounds so crazy to the average person, you are not going to be able to get there by being average, by doing average things. To get exceptional goals, to get extraordinary goals, you need to make extraordinary sacrifices. If you don't make extraordinary sacrifices, your goal becomes a sacrifice, and you sacrifice your goal. So always thinking about, in the back of your head, like finding your why. What's your reason for doing this? Right? You don't want to be working, I'm assuming you don't want to be working for someone for the rest of your life, right? Like you're okay to do it maybe for another couple months, but you're at the point where you literally can't go on doing this any longer and you need to make something work because you know this isn't for you. You've been doing this last 2 or 3 years and you're still in the same place because you haven't actually taken action. You need to make sacrifices. And in the beginning, people are going to doubt you. People are going to think you're crazy, you're stupid, because again, those are average people. You have exceptional goals. You need to do exceptional things and make exceptional sacrifices that are going to look crazy to the average person's eye. And I know for me, I did as well. People are like, "Oh, dude, what are you doing this stuff, posting this content?" They ask you those questions until they see you at the top. And it is cheesy, but it is so true. You have people be like, "Dude, what are you doing?" Like, "Dude, just come back, go back to school, go work a job." You leave your job and you're only making 1,000 a month in this new business model, and then they're like, "Dude, what are you doing?" They see you 4 months later, 6 months later, and you're in the position they wish they could get to, but all they can do is try to tear you down because they're not willing to make the sacrifices that you made. And that's what you need to do. So to recap again, number one, you need to go and actually reframe the way you think about your time. You are not at a disadvantage. You need to maximize the amount of time you have. Second is actually choosing the business model, going down the right path, right? Because you could put all the time into the world on something, but if it's a wrong thing, then it's not going to matter. You have a shaky foundation. With a shaky foundation, you can't build a skyscraper. The skyscraper is going to topple. So you need a strong foundation, which I would recommend. You need to build up your skill set to the level of pay that you want, right? You need to build up high paying, high ticket skills, which is sales and marketing. I can tell you that right now, I'll save you the time. And the only business model where you can actually go and do that consistently, build it up yourself, and build that skill set, I think, as quick as possible, is an agency. And that's exactly what I do as well. That's why I got into it after trying all this other stuff. But pick one thing and stick with it. Because again, you're paid to the level of skill set you have. Right now, you have a 9 to 5 skill set, which is why you're in the position you are. But once you build up that skill set, the money's going to follow. And then lastly, just making sacrifices, right? You have exceptional goals. You have extraordinary goals. You need to make extraordinary sacrifices. Otherwise, your goal becomes a sacrifice. And those are the kind of 3, 4, I don't even know how many things it was that I want to leave you with. But I hope this gives you some insight and some clarity. Again, if any of this resonated with you and you genuinely want to be different, maybe you want help with this. Maybe you tried this business before, maybe it failed, maybe you haven't. But if this interests you at all, feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram. I always love connecting with you guys, and I can try to help you out, point you in the right direction. And if you want like a full roadmap on like how to go and do this specifically and start this business like as soon as possible to get it up to 10K a month within 3, 4 months, feel free to also go below and book a call with me to apply to work with me one-on-one if that's something you would be interested in. But otherwise, just what I want you to do is don't go watch a bunch of videos on YouTube. I want you to actually go take action on the things I told you. Because again, learning is only if you actually go and apply them. Don't let it go in one ear, out the other. Actually go and apply it. If you need to listen to this video again, do it. Put it on 2x speed when you're in the car, because genuinely this is going to be the year you change your life, but only if you actually follow the things that I gave you and actually stick with it. That's the biggest thing. It's not an overnight success. No business model is going to be a get rich quick scheme like people say it is. I tell you, this business model is not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. And if you actually are ready to take the next step and you do also want to learn more about the business model, I made a full 10-hour free course on exactly this business model. I told you I wasn't going to go send you to another video, but if you genuinely are ready to take action and you actually are in a place where you know you need to make a change and you're willing to sacrifice, then I would recommend you to go check out that video. Again, if you're 100% ready to do it and you're actually going to take action. So full free 10 hours for you, but this is my gift to you if you actually go and take action. So if you're interested, it'll be in the description, otherwise right here, and I will see you there.